Good morning, everyone. In this subject of kinematics and theory of machine, we are talking about the basic introduction of this subject, and we are talking about the links. We have already talked about the types of link. Okay, then we talk about the pair, then kinematic chain. Then we have talked about mechanisms and how that mechanism is identified according to uh, Grubler's criteria. And we have certain equation, and by using that equation we have found that either that chain, mechanical chain, is a structure or mechanism or a unconstrained structure or fully constrained structure. Okay, so based on that that equation we have defined this, and then we have started our discussion on a inversion of a mechanism. And in that one we are talking about the various types of pair and their inversion. Okay, so in that one there are 4-bar chain or quadratic chain, single slider crank chain, and a double slider crank chain. And in last lecture we have talked about this 4-bar chain. In that one it is having a simple 4 links. Okay, it has a 4 links, and all these 4 links have a turning pair. Okay, each of that link has a turning pair. Okay, so then it is known as a 4-bar chain, simple 4-bar chain. In that one there is no sliding pair or any other pair. All these pairs which is forming, which is having a turning pair. Okay, so as you can see, this is a turning pair and this is a turning pair. And based on that we have certain inversions, like first inversion that we can see is a beam engine. Okay, so we have already discussed that how that beam engine that will reciprocate because of the rotation of this link 2. Then we have talked about the coupling rod of a locomotive. In that one again we have 4 link, and all are having a turning pairs. Then we have talked about the Watt's indicator mechanism. In that one we get a straight line mechanism. Okay, and the piston movement by use of these 4 links, and in that one again we have all this pair having a turning joints. Okay, so this was the inversion of a 4-bar chain. Now in this lecture we are going to talk about a second inversion, that is a single slider crank chain. Single slider crank chain. So in that one, a single slider crank chain is a modification of the basic 4-bar chain. We have done in this one slightly change in that 4-bar chain. In 4-bar chain we have all this turning pair, while here it consists of one sliding pair and 3 turning pair. Okay, so this is the only difference. In previous one all 4 are turning pair, while here in a single slider crank chain we have one sliding pair and 3 turning pair. This is the difference, and it is usually found in reciprocating steam engine mechanism. This type of mechanism converts the rotary motion into reciprocating motion and vice versa. Means, so it can also convert the reciprocating motion into a rotary motion. So both the mechanism, both type of mechanism we can use, from rotary to reciprocating as well as from reciprocating to rotary motion, by using this slider crank chain mechanism. In a slider crank chain, the link 1, this is the link 1. Here we have this link 1, which is fixed to the frame. Then link 2, this is link 2. Link 3, so this one is the link 3, and link 4. Link 4 means here, this is the sliding which is over here. So in this one, 3 turning pair. So which are the turning pair? This one is one turning pair. This one is second turning pair. Okay. This one is third turning pair. And here, this one is our sliding pair. So this link has 4 pair. Out of them, 3 are a turning pair and 1 is a sliding pair. Okay. This link 4 and link 1, that is producing the sliding pair here. This is the sliding. Okay. This one is this piston that will slide in this cylinder. Okay. So this one is the sliding pair. So the link 1, this is the link 1 which is corresponds to the frame of the engine which is fixed. Okay, so as you can see, this link 1 which is here, which is corresponding to the frame and it is fixed. Then the link which is corresponds to the crank. Okay, so this link 2 which is known as a crank. Then the link 3 which is a connecting rod. Okay, and the link 4 here, this link 4, this is a cross head piston. This is the piston, simple slider. So as the crank rotates, suppose as the crank rotates in this direction, okay, so after some time the position of the crank that will be here. Suppose after some time the position of the crank will be here, and due to that this point having a sliding motion up to here, up to here. Okay, so this will be the position of link 3 and this will be the position of the slider. And as the crank rotates, the crosshead reciprocates in the guides, and thus the piston, and this piston is connected with this one. Okay, so that the piston is reciprocates into the cylinder. So this is how this rotary motion is converted into reciprocating motion of the piston in the cylinder. And this is the very important inversion, because this type of inversion which is generally used in engine. Okay, engine of a bike, engine of a car, okay, any IC engine. What we do, we convert the motion from rotary to the reciprocating, as well as we convert the reciprocating motion into the rotary motion. And that's why this slider crank mechanism, which is one of the very important inversion for a engine, and generally it is found in engines. So this is the inversion of a slider crank mechanism. This is the simple inversion. Now from that one, what are the various inversion that we can get, that we will discuss. So first we get is a pendulum pump or a bull engine. So again, here in this mechanism, the inversion is obtained by fixing the cylinder or link 4. Okay, so here in this case, this link number 4 which is over here, which is fixed, this link number 4 which is fixed, and in this one the link 2 which is crank, which will rotate. Okay, it can rotate in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction, and as the link is rotated, or here we will see that this is our turning pair number 1. Okay, this is the turning pair number 1, this is the turning pair number 2, this one is turning pair number 3. Okay, and this one is a reciprocating pair. So as we talked earlier, that it is a 4 bar mechanism. So in that one, we have a 4 pair. Out of that, these 3, this 1, these 2 and these 3 are a turning pair, while this one is a sliding pair. Now, as we know that as we rotate this crank 2, this connecting rod that will reciprocate up to here and up to here, and based on that the link 3 which will oscillated, okay, the link 3 that will be oscillated up and down, and according to that the piston that will be move into the cylinder, and that how this pump will operate it. Okay, and this is the use inversion of a single slider crank mechanism as a pendulum pump. Okay, and generally the duplex pump which is used to supply feed water to the boiler have two piston attached to one link. Okay, so this is the inversion that is used in the boiler, and this is how this bull engine or a pendulum pump will rotate. And why it is known as a pendulum pump? Because this connecting rod, it is having a oscillatory motion. Okay, like a pendulum, it has a oscillatory motion like this. It can move only up to this one or this one. This is based upon the crank length, and according to that, as this will reach, suppose it will oscillate here. Okay, according to that the piston will move up, and as it will come the piston will move down, and this is how the work which is operated by the pump, and that's why this is used in a some duplex pump into the supply feed water into the boiler. So this is the first inversion of a slider, a single slider crank chain. Then oscillating cylinder engine, this is the second inversion, oscillating cylinder engine. Okay, so the arrangement of the oscillating cylinder engine mechanism is used to convert reciprocating motion into a rotary motion, reciprocating motion into a rotary motion. And in this mechanism the link 3, the link 3 here, this is the link 3 forming the turning pair is fixed. So again here we will see that this is our link pair, turning pair number 1, this is turning pair number 2, this one is turning pair number 3, and here the piston is moving into the cylinder, it is a sliding. Okay, so one sliding pair. So total 4 pair, out of them 1, 2 and 3 are a turning pair, and this one is a sliding pair. So the link 3, which is the connecting rod here, which connect the which are the link 3 corresponds to the connecting rod of a reciprocating steam engine mechanism here, while the link 2 it is a crank, and as the crank 2 rotates, the piston attached to the piston rod. Okay, the piston here, this is the piston which is connected to the piston rod. Okay, this is our link 1 piston rod, and at the end of the piston rod we have a piston. So as the crank will rotate, this link 1 or this piston that will reciprocate, and the cylinder 4 that may oscillate. Okay, so according to that the cylinder may oscillate about its pivot point. Okay, so in this case the cylinder will reciprocate in this direction or in this direction, and that's why it is known as a oscillating cylinder engine. And how this oscillation is achieved? This oscillation is achieved by fixing this connecting rod, and as we rotate this crank, with that rotation of the crank, as the dashed circle given here. Okay, so the crank may rotate at any point on this circle, Okay, so as the crank will rotate, according to that, the piston that will slide into the cylinder, and the cylinder having a oscillation in this direction. Okay, and generally this cylinder which is pivoted at the end, and because of that, your piston may, or the cylinder may reach here. This is the one extreme position that we can get, and the second thing we can get here, which is the second position what we can get of the engine cylinder. So this is the oscillation of the cylinder, and that's why it is known as a oscillating cylinder engine. So this is the second inversion that we can get from the single slider crank mechanism. Then third is a rotary internal combustion engine or a genome engine. So in this case, it consists of a 7 cylinder. It consists of a 7 cylinder. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It has a 7 cylinders in one plane, and all revolves about fixed center D. Okay, all revolves about fixed center D, while the crank 2, here this one is the crank, this is the crank, this is small, okay, this small connecting is a crank which is fixed. Okay, in this one the crank is fixed, and in this mechanism, when the connecting rod, means this link 4, this connecting rod rotates, the piston reciprocates inside the cylinder, forming one link. Okay, so in this one we have each cylinder which is performing as a separate 4-bar link. So here this is one turning pair, this is second turning pair, this one is the third turning pair, and this piston is rotating into the cylinder, this is the fourth turning pair, sliding pair. So we have total 4 pair. Out of them, 3 are turning pair and 1 is a sliding pair. So now, as this uh, piston has a, or this connecting rod has a motion, okay, or as it will rotate, according to that, all the cylinders or all the pistons in the cylinder having a certain sliding motion into the cylinder, and that's how this is engine that will operates. And in this case, as we know that it can go, or it can have a circular motion in this direction like this, and as this uh, point that will be rotate, according to that the different piston having a different location in each and every cylinder, and that's how this rotary internal combustion engine or genome engine will work. Okay, this type of engine was used in rotary internal combustion engine, but nowadays in gas turbines, these gas turbines are used in this place. So it was now replaced by the turbines. Okay, so but sometime before it will be used in a rotary some aviation industry. Then next is a crank and slotted lever quick return motion mechanism. So it is important, and this type of mechanism which is used in lathe in a shaper machine. Okay, sometime that we can use in a shaper machine, and we are also going to study or see the how this shaper machine will reciprocate by using this crank and slotted lever quick return mechanism. So as the name suggests, it is a quick return. The return time is quick as compared to its forward time. So it has a reciprocating motion. So here, now understand this diagram properly, because it is important to understand this diagram. In this mechanism, the link AC, okay, this is link A and C. This link AC is forming a turning pair and which is fixed. So here at the link 1, we have one turning pair over here, and here we have a turning pair over here, and it is fixed. So this link AC, as you can see in this diagram, it is fixed. The link 3, here this link 3 means this one, this big rod, this big rod which is link 3, corresponds to the connecting rod of a reciprocating steam engine. Then the driving crank CB, here this is CB is a crank. CB is a crank, link 2, revolves with a angular speed about the fixed center C. So this B, as you can see in the circle here, this dotted circle means this is the angular rotation of the point B with respect to point C. And a sliding block, this one is the sliding block here. You can see this one is the sliding block. Okay, so the sliding block attached to the crank pin at B, which will slide along the slotted bar AP. Okay, so this AP is a slotted bar, means hollow shaft, and in that one, this slider will move, and thus the AP, and because of that, the AP that will oscillate from this point to this point. Okay, so the P or this AP that will oscillate here as well as here. So now as this P, suppose this is the point P, and as this P that will move to the point P2, means this extreme position, and here this is the connecting rod. Okay, so suppose this connecting rod has the somewhat length, like suppose it is 50. So here, from here, this one is the 50. So this will be the extreme position of the stroke, and here we have a cutting tool. As you can see, this is the cutting tool. So cutting tool will reach this maximum point, and as this point that will move at P1, and from this is the connecting rod, and from here we have this ram and this tool. Okay, so this tool has, this is the uh, these are the two extreme point, and within this the tool will reciprocate. So now in this case, how you will see this single slider crank mechanism. So in this one, this is the only single slider crank mechanism. This one is the only this is the only single slider crank mechanism. But according to that, we have this attach link, and from that one we will get the return stroke as well as cutting stroke. Okay, so here you can see we have 4 link. This is the slider, which is our link number 1. This crank, this is our link number 2. This fixed link AC, this is our link number 3, and this slotted bar is our link number 4. And in this one, as we talked earlier, we have 3 turning pair. This is our turning pair number 1. This is our turning pair number 1. This is turning pair number 2. Now this is turning pair number 3, and that B or the slider that will move into the link AC, this is the sliding pair. So it will become a sliding pair. So we have again 3 turning pair and 1 sliding pair, and that's why it is known as a inversion of a single slider crank chain. And as this crank will rotate, the point P has a motion, a reciprocating motion like this, and according to that the stroke or the ram that will move forward and backward. So now as you can see here that as the crank, suppose the crank is initial at point B1, so in that case your point P will be at P1 and your ram that will be at the last point here. And now as the crank will move from B1 to B2 like this, B1 to B2 means in this case the point that will oscillates from P1 to P2, and this is the extreme point. So this one is the cutting stroke. As you can see here, it is given that this direction it is a cutting stroke, and during that stroke when it will come from this point to this point, it will cut the material, and the angle from B1 to B2 which is beta. Okay, now from as it is continuing its motion and it will again rotates from B2 to B1, B2 to B1, and again the point that will reach from P1 to P2 to P1. But you can see here this angle is alpha. Now from the diagram we can easily understand that the beta angle, this beta angle which is greater than alpha, which is greater than alpha means the time to require for the cutting stroke is larger as compared to its return stroke beta. Okay, so and alpha, that's why here you can see that beta is greater than alpha, and in this case the cutting time is greater than the return time, and that's why it is known as a quick return. Quick return because the return is quick as compared to the cutting stroke, and that's why this mechanism it is known as a quick return mechanism. And why this quick return mechanism is important? Because the cutting action that will be performed only a forward stroke or cutting stroke, while in return stroke there is no cut of the material. So we have to minimize that return time, then and then we can increase the productivity or product time. So to increase the cutting time and reduce the non-cutting time, the return of the ram that should be as quick as possible, and this is achieved by using this mechanism, and that's why it is known as a crank and slotted lever quick return mechanism. Here we have a crank, and this crank is having a piston which is in a slotted lever. This AP it is a slotted lever, slotted bar, and that's why it is known as a crank and slotted lever quick return motion mechanism. And this mechanism is mostly used in a shaping machine. As I told earlier, in a shaper machine the cutting process which is performed only in a forward stroke, and during return stroke there is no cutting motion, and that's why this mechanism that will be used in a shaper machine. Then another mechanism, it is a Whitworth quick return motion mechanism. It is again the same thing. We are cutting a material by using of a cutting stroke, and during return stroke it is not going to cut, and that's why the return stroke that should be minimum. So the in this case how we can achieve this that we will see. So in this mechanism, the link CD here, this link CD, which is forming the pair and it is fixed. Then the link 2, correspond to the crank. Okay, here, this one is. Here, link which is corresponds to the crank in a reciprocating steam engine. The driving crank CA, this driving crank CA rotates at a uniform angular speed here. As you can see CA, so these there are two circles, okay? So this bigger circle, that will be the circle which is formed by the rotation of point A. Attached to the crank pin at A slides along the slotted bar PA. Okay, so this as this one as this will rotate, so thus as the rotation will start, it will start sliding into this slaughter PA. Okay, so this will start oscillating, and with this oscillating at the pivot point D here, as this one start oscillating at this point, pivot point D, the connecting rod PR. Okay, so this connecting rod PR, carries the ram at R, which also going into the cutting form. Okay, so it is going in a forward motion and it will cut. And as you can see this one here, from A1, from A1, where it will be at A1, this ram that will be at the extreme position here. When it is at A1, just a minute. So in this one, as this point A1 here, in that case, we have this ram or this position of the AP that will be like this. And it will be at the extreme left corner. And when it will move from A1 to A2, it will start oscillating and it will reach at the this point. So this one is the motion, and from A2 to A1 again it will come. In this case it will in a return stroke. So again here you can see this angle here, this angle is greater than this one, so that in this case again the forward stroke having a larger time as compared to its return stroke. And again, why this is because in cutting stroke we have to cut the material, while in return stroke we have to save the time, because in that one there is no cutting action. And that is why during that return mechanism it will quick as compared to its forward mechanism, and that's why it is known as a quick return mechanism. And this kind of quick return mechanism that is generally used in a slotting machine. This one is used in a shaper machine, and this one is used in a slaughter machine. So these are the inversion of a single slider crank chain. So here we will see the various single slider crank mechanism and its inversion. So first mechanism is a pendular pump or a bull engine. We have seen these different pendulum pump, then oscillating cylinder, rotor internal combustion engine, then crank slotted quick return mechanism, and Whitworth quick return mechanism. So we will see that where this single slider crank chain will be applicable in a different area. So first is a pendular pump or bull pump, which is applicable to the duplex pump, which is a supply feed water to the boiler. Then oscillating cylinder engine, which is applicable in reciprocating steam engine. Then third, rotary internal combustion engine or genome engine, which is used in aviation. Crank and slaughter lever quick return mechanism, which is mostly used in shaper machine. And finally, Whitworth quick return mechanism, which is used in a slaughter machine. So these are the various inversion of a single slider crank chain and its inversion. In the previous lecture, what we have discussed, it is the inversion of a 4-bar chain. Okay, it is all are the inversion of a 4-bar chain. In that one, all the uh, pair, that will be a turning pair. While in a single slider crank chain, we have a 1 sliding pair and 3 turning pair, and these are the sum of the uh, inversion of a single slider crank chain. Then we have a double slider crank chain. The use of the double slider crank chain and how this double slider crank chain inversion is applicable to different area, that we will discuss in our next lecture.